Well, it took me a couple of days to figure out this geometry, but I finally got there. So I'm going to start with a line, and it's the geometry of a Pringle, and I should have the compasses set for 20mm. There we go. I'm going to draw a circle with the centre on that line. Starting where the circumference of the circle meets that line, I'm going to draw around 2 points from either side, and now I've got the circle divided into 6, and from those points at the top I'm going to bisect that angle, and again at the bottom. I'll just put a couple of points in there so that I get this right. Ruler, draw a line through there. It's a little off for some reason. It's only for demonstration purposes. I'd be more accurate, I'd be marking these out with the pricking tool and everything if I was doing this for real. Now, I also now want to, from each of these points, find the corners of a cube around that sphere. So each of these points because we know that it's the same distance up from this line and down from this line and across from this point and in both directions, so and that's going to give us our cube. And I'll mark this in pen. I'll just prick the points so I can feel them. There's something about this, a pen heals those points, so I'm not going to go quite up to them. It heals the paper, that's something I found. When it wets the ink, it expands the paper and it will heal the points. So by not quite going up to it, it avoids that problem. And then you can't find that point again, obviously, with the compass if you need it again, which I don't think I do. But I also want the diagonals, so corner to corner through the centre. That centre will heal up now, but I'm not that worried. There we go. I'm not going to mark that circle out yet because I need to mark that in colour. You'll see in a minute. So now I've got a square circumscribing that cube, and in wood terms I'm looking down at the end of a piece of wood, at the end grain of a piece of wood, which would be longer than a cube. In reality it'd be whatever, you know, whatever I need for whatever I'm doing with this shape. Next, I need to go back to my 40mm, 20mm radius compass and pick the points where those 45 degrees intersect the sphere, and that will give me a centre that's going to go through both of those points where that 45 touches the sphere, and draw a, it's not a full half circle, and I've got to do that for there, all 4 places. There's There's the second one. And this has to be the same diameter. This is part of the geometry that I worked out as the squareness of the wood and the diameter of that circle, if you like. Next one. There's our error. Bit of error's crept in there. I'm going to go there, that's it. Errors always try and creep in. Pricking out tool is wrong point. So from where that 45-degree line crosses the radius, the circumference of the circle I'm going from. And you notice that it's not like if I started there, that would go right into the centre. But by finding that point out, I'm only starting this curve from the circumference of the circle. Now bear with me 1 second. Because what we're trying to do is, like this curve coming round here, for example, and coming around there, I'm going to hollow a hole through this one, yeah, could be this piece of wood, but pieces of wood, which starts out at that diameter there and comes round to the centre, so you like a trumpet cone going through to the centre, and a trumpet cone symmetrical coming through from the other side, and then offset from that at 90 degrees further up or down the piece of wood is another trumpet cone coming in, this time this at 90 degrees to it, and between those two, if they space them out right, is that Pringle shape. Well, the top and bottom would be Pringle shaped one side, but by doing that 90-degree offset you get the full Pringle, if you like. So let me just load this up with a pen, because we can't see that at the minute, I'm guessing. Get this to the right radius. See, now that centre hole did heal up. There we go, we're good. Right, now I've got to mark this carefully. I want to mark that top 90 degrees and the bottom 90 degrees in one colour, that way, and the inside curved that way. And this is going to translate to patterns for the wood to get these hollowings, the holes through them with the right. So there's our blue, and if you look at from the top of a Pringle, this is the shape that it is, a saddle shape. Obviously, being in 2 dimensions, it doesn't show that this curve coming this way on this blue one is convex, but this way it's concave, and that's the trick of this Pringle shape, the hyperbolic paraboloid. So another colour.